Hi, I'm Lindsay with Garden Hands, and today is all about planting. First, we're going to start in the garden by planting some cold hardy seeds. Then we're going to move over to the horse pasture and plant some pasture seed mix. And finally, I'm hoping to plant a Forsythia that I have. I'm really excited about that plant. It's going to be beautiful next year. So let's get started. First, we're going to start with some cold hardy seeds, and what I have as far as materials for that: gloves, a trowel, I have my labels, and I have my seed mix. So I've gone through my seeds and I have a handful of different types that I think might be okay to put in the ground. There are a couple that I'm pushing the envelope a little bit, but I'll give it a try. We've had a really nice spring so far, and hopefully if we are going to have a few frost dates, I can come out and cover them with some kind of a blanket. I have a couple different types of lettuce, spinach, salad mix, kale, a couple different types of peas, cabbage, carrots, kohlrabi, and beets. So let's get started. So I've decided that this bed is going to have lettuce, spinach, kale, and my salad greens. I believe last year I had onions planted in here, so I do like to rotate things around a little bit if I have that option. I'm just going to create a couple lines in here so I know where I'm planting. Most of these seeds are 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch deep, and if I do have any that are too close after a couple weeks and they come up, then I'll just come in and thin them out. I'm not overly concerned about spacing exactly right from the get-go. For this next bed, I am planting sugar snap peas. These are my favorite garden snack, and we succession plant these all summer long, and we'll take whatever we can get. So the two varieties I'm putting in this bed are Kelvedon Wonder and Sugar and Snap Peas. For peas, I think it typically is about 3 to 4 inches apart and 1 inch to 1.5 inches deep. And I'm putting 3 rows in this 4-foot bed. Alright, our Sugarsnax carrots are next. we're going to plant these tiny little seeds about 1/4 inch deep, and it's really important to keep these watered until they start to germinate. So I will be bringing a hose out to the barn and coming out to check on these as we go. I don't worry too much about the spacing of these because I know I'm going to have to come out and thin them as soon as they start to sprout. Next up we have kohlrabi. I have never grown kohlrabi before. I've eaten it, but I am unfamiliar with growing it. It says to direct sow every 2 to 3 weeks from 2 weeks before last spring frost to 2 to 4 weeks before first autumn frost. Harvest when the bulbs reach 3 inches across. So we'll give it a shot. It's very pretty. It says we're going to plant the seeds 1/4 inch deep and 6 to 8 inches apart. I will probably only do a couple of these. And the last thing I'm going to be planting today are beets. I'm planting these according to the package, and it says to plant them 1/2 inch deep and 4 to 6 inches apart. We don't eat a ton of beets in our family, but they are fun to grow, and I enjoy growing something that the kids can see and try. Alright, we're all done with that.
That's a lot of grass seed. How much is there on the top? About 2088.
The kids and I are up in the horse pasture, and we're going to do a little bit of overseeding. I picked up just a general northern pasture mix. It's for foraging animals. We're just gonna overseed this. The kids are a little bit heavy-handed, and that's just fine. It got done, and you know what? If some of it grows, that's fantastic. And if there's a couple areas that are a little bit heavier than others, then you know what? That's just fine. It was just nice to get a little bit of help. It helped speed up the process. So the last project of the day is going to be to plant this northern gold Forsythia. This is a shrub that requires full sun. It gets about 8 feet tall and about 7 feet wide. It has those beautiful yellow flowers early in the spring. This plant was a little bit larger than I wanted to put in my backyard, and so I'm putting it up in the top corner of our property. Actually, I think we might be a few feet over, but don't tell Mom and Dad. When I did get up here, I noticed that this entire corner was covered in burdocks, my arch nemesis. It's probably not the best idea to plant it while this area is covered in such heavy burdock right now, but I have the plant and I had a little bit of time, so what I'm gonna do is pull out all the burdock. The nice thing about doing this in the spring is it comes out super easy. However, I believe burdock is a biennial, and the first year it's gonna send out its leaves. The second year it's gonna send out its bloom and then its seed, which is those terrible little burrs that get in your hair, as you will see. And then they have hundreds of little seeds that float all over the place. So my plan is to clean out a spot so that I can plant this Forsythia, and I am hoping that throughout this year I can maintain this a little bit better than I had in the past couple of years. Eventually maybe this will turn into a little bit of a wildflower corner. Why? So what I'm going to do is clear the area, move the burdock out of the way, move the branches out of the way, and then dig a hole. I did bring some fertilizer up here. I have it in a cup, and I'll put that in the bottom of the hole, and we will plant our Forsythia. I did not bring gloves up here, so we're just going to use the shovel and do the best we can. Here's a burdock plant. They get a taproot on them, so it would have been better if I would have got the whole taproot, but definitely want to get rid of that little guy. So when I'm planting, I'm going to dig a hole that's a little bit bigger than the root ball is. I am putting a little bit of biotone fertilizer in the bottom. And then I want to make sure that the top of the root ball is about even with ground level. I'm going to fill it back in with the dirt, tamp it down a little bit, and then I will bring a bucket of water up because we are not close to a water source in this location, and I'll make sure to watch it over the next few weeks to make sure it gets adequate water. Thanks for watching as I got a few different types of things planted today. Please like this video, subscribe, and stay tuned for what we have coming next.